classify various route of administration of drug. Which is the most common route? Give its merit and demerit. This question has been asked in annual MSBT examination for the weightage of 4 marks. So first of all, according to the definition, the two definitions indicated here right on your screen, route of drug administration is nothing but the path through which a drug or pharmacologically active agent is being introduced into the body. So, route of drug administration can be broadly classified according to the effect which is intended to be produced. The drug is intended to produce either systemic effect or local effect. Systemic effect means what? The drug is intended to reach the systemic blood circulation, and local effect means what? The drug is intended to produce the pharmacological response in a specific localized area or specific surface of the body. So, for systemic effect, we mostly use two routes, that is intral and parenteral. In the intral route, there are 4 methods, that is oral, sublingual, rectal, and buccal. In the parenteral route, there are several methods like inhalation, injection, transdermal method, and the injection method is further subclassified into intravenous injection, intramuscular injection, subcutaneous injection, intra-arterial injection, intra-articular injection, intrathecal injection, intradermal injection. We will discuss it one by one in the further section of this video. So, local. So, if the drug is intended to produce a local effect, we use following methods, that is skin, topical, intranasal, ocular drops, mucosal, throat, vaginal, mouth and ear application, inhalation, transdermal. So, first of all, if we will classify the routes, we should classify it into 3 broad classes or 3 broad subclasses, that is intral, parenteral, topical. We'll discuss it one by one. So, intral is, the word is literally derived from the word interon, and interon means gastrointestinal tract. So, if the drug is being administered through gastrointestinal tract, the route it will be known as intral route. So, this intral route consists of 4 methods, that is oral, sublingual, buccal, rectal. So, oral method, that is just the injection. The tablets and capsules are just ingested, and they are being absorbed through small intestine. Sublingual route, here the drug or the tablet is being placed under the tongue, and the drug is being absorbed from the fine minute capillaries present there. Buccal route, the drug or the tablet is being placed between the gums and the cheeks for the systemic effect. Rectal, here the suppositories or enemas are being administered in the rectal cavities. So, these are some of the routes which are employed in the intral administration of the drug, or these are some of the methods. Specifically, these are the methods. In the oral administration, the tablet is just been ingested. In the sublingual administration, the tablet is just being placed below the tongue, and in the buccal administration, the tablet is being placed between the gums and the cheek, basically for the systemic effect. So, we'll talk about the parenteral route. So, the word parenteral means other than intral route, and this mostly includes the injections or the fluid introduction through veins, through arteries, and there are various methods. We'll study it one by one. These also include the indwelling catheters. The fluids are also being introduced into the systemic circulation through indwelling catheters. So, type of the parenteral administration: if the injection is being administered or the syringe is being administered 90 degrees, the injection is in the muscle layer, or the injection is known as the intramuscular injection, and this is the most favored route for the oil soluble drugs or fat soluble drugs like vitamin D3. There the drug is being administered intramuscularly, and the drug is being deposited between the layers of the muscles, and from that layer the drug is being released slowly for several weeks. Subcutaneous administration, the drugs such as insulin is being administered subcutaneously, and for that the injection is need to be tilted at 45 degrees before the administration. Intravenous administration, most of the antibiotics are being administered intravenously. For that the injection is need to be tilted to 25 degrees. Intradermal administration, intradermal injection, for that the injection is need to be tilted 10 to 15 degrees, and this route is most favored for BCG vaccines or vaccination. So there are 3 primary routes or 3 primary methods of parenteral administration, that is subcutaneous, intramuscular, intravenous, and other methods we are going to study. That is the intrathecal. Intrathecal means administration of the drug directly into the spinal cord through an injection. It's intrathecal administration. So intrathecal administration is mostly favored for chemotherapy. So intra-articular. So in the cases such as rheumatoid arthritis, to decrease the inflammation, betamethasone, sodium, such corticosteroids are being administered intra-articularly. So intracardial injection. So in the emergency cases or the cardiac emergency, what happens is the drug is being administered directly into the heart, that is adrenaline and isoprene. So intracerebral. So the drug is being administered into the cerebrospinal fluid, or I will say the drugs are here administered for basically for chemotherapy purpose. So intraepidural injection. So the drug here is being administered to decrease the inflammation of the spinal cord into the epidural space, or for chemotherapy. So intracisternal. Here the drug is being administered into cisterna magna for basically chemotherapeutic purposes. So topical administration. So topical administration is just the application of the drug on the skin. Skin is the largest organ of the human body, and most of the topical medicaments are known as epicutaneous, means they are applied directly to the skin. So most of the time the topical formulation are intended to have systemic effect. If we will talk about the transdermal patches, you can see on the screen the drugs are being transferred through the skin to the systemic circulation. And the drugs are intended to have systemic effect and they are creating it. And also in the example of the film, the drugs are reaching to the systemic circulation, as you can see it on your screen. So transdermal patch of diclofenac is quite famous. And the semi-solid formulation like creams and ointments are mostly intended to have localized effect, such as the ketoconazole cream. It is being used for the treatment of the fungal patches on the skin. So diclofenac transdermal patch. So intral route, we'll talk about the advantage and disadvantage. Intral route means what? Administration via gastrointestinal tract. Call it as rectal, feeding tubes. Feeding tubes is the duodenal administration, or gastric, rectal administration. These all come under the intral route. So oral administration is the most favored route or most commonly employed route, because there is considerable degree of patient compliance in the oral route of administration. But this route of administration is not favored for the drugs which are having low oral bioavailability. So we'll talk about the advantage and the disadvantage. So the major advantage is the oral route is non-invasive, means the drugs are going through an existing hole, which is the mouth. The manufacturing cost of tablet and capsule are relatively less as compared to the injections. First pass metabolism. I will give you the example of the prodrugs. The prodrugs are being activated due to the first pass metabolism. So for the prodrugs, the oral route of administration is the most favored one, and these are the three major advantages. Now we'll talk about the disadvantages. So first pass metabolism is an advantage and also is a disadvantage. If we'll talk about the paracetamol and other drugs which are frequently given through the oral route, they are considerably metabolized through the liver in the first pass metabolism, and considerable proportion of the drug is being lost. So this is the first major disadvantage. Another disadvantage is the patient compliance. If the patient is unconscious, the tablet administration or capsule administration or syrup administration is quite a difficult thing, and this is the major disadvantage. Delayed onset of action, because the oral administration needs the drug to be absorbed through the GI tract, and the absorption is a time consuming step. So the onset of action will be 30 minutes to 60 minutes delayed, and in the case of parenteral administration, the onset of action will be in 5 to 10 minutes. So this is a major disadvantage of the oral administration. Not suitable in emergency cases. If the patient is unconscious, the administration through the oral route is not suitable, and this is also a disadvantage. Not convenient for the patient with gastrointestinal disorder, such as if the patient is suffering from the ulceration, a peptic ulcer, and if the patient is given NSAID, what will happen? NSAID will increase the level of the gastric juice in the stomach, and this will create a sufficient level of inconvenience to the patient. So this is not favored route of administration when the person is suffering from diarrhea, constipation, ulceration, or hyperacidity. Sometimes the medication like NSAID can lead to the ulcer if it is being used for a long period of time. So these both are some of the disadvantage of the oral administration. Other than that, the patients who are suffering from malabsorption syndrome can't absorb the drug properly from the enteral route of administration. So this is also a disadvantage. Not adequate for the medicaments which are destructed through the acid or gastric juice, such as insulin. Insulin is the protein, and it is been basically destroyed if it has been administered orally. So therefore the insulin injection is been given subcutaneously. Not a good choice in uncooperative patient like the children of or infants of 1 to 2 days. So what is happening if you are giving the syrup, they aren't able to ingest it. So basically the parental route is the most favored one, and this is the disadvantage of the enteral route. Now appropriate if the patient is suffering from chronic vomiting. If the patient is suffering from chronic vomiting, what the patient will do? He will vomit the drug. It will give it to him. So therefore the parental route is most favored one in this case, and this is a major disadvantage of the enteral route. Thank you for listening.